Good morning, folks. How are we doing? Welcome back to Silverton at the Hardrock 100 for 2023. Brett and I are excited because right now we've got an incredible guest, Pam Reed. And Pam is doing something that is blowing my mind and blowing Brett's mind. I'm speaking for you, Brett, and I have no apologies for that.
No, that's fair.
So, Pam, welcome to Hardrock 100 2023. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. Yeah, I was just saying how I have never rested so much, in between these races, and it's really driving me crazy. I mean, because I'm always moving, I work out, generally speaking, 3 to 5 hours every day. So I haven't done, since Western, I have really, we're talking cut that way back, right?
Yeah. And
it's hard. So I feel, right now I feel pretty rested, but a little, I'm anxious, like, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned Western States, but there was actually another good-sized run in between now in Western States, being the Badwater.
We really need, explain it to everyone, Pam. Let us know what you've been doing and up until this point over the last few weeks.
Yeah, how it all started is back actually with Jamil's race, Fat Ox. I did the Fat Ox, and right when I finished, I went to my car, which the cool thing is my car was right there. So I got in my car and I looked at my phone, and it was blowing up because I had gotten into Western States. So then Jamil was at the finish line. I walked over and I said, I got into Western States. And he looked it up and he goes, you got into Hardrock.
Oh.
So, yeah. So then, so I was driving back to my house in Scottsdale and called my husband. I told him I'm in both races. And by the way, this is my husband's favorite run, is Hardrock. He's attempted it 4 times and never made it. So he loves when I get in because he loves it here as I do. I'm really afraid of this race, but it's so amazingly beautiful. So anyway, he on the phone, he's like, well, maybe you should do Badwater. And so I just started thinking about it. And the problem is, he reminded me of this the other day, is whenever he tells me something, it's like I'm on it, long time ago, like in 2006. In Runner's World, the cover was Dean Karnazes because he won Badwater that year, and I took 3rd or something. And anyway, he was on the cover, and he had talked about what he wanted to do was he wanted to run 300 miles without sleep. So Jim was reading it to me, and Jim goes, by the next day, I had it set up, and in 6 weeks I did that. So I ran 300 miles without sleep. Just because when he mentioned it to me, then I put it in my head, and I thought, well, I think I can do that, So these 3 runs, it's the same kind of thing. I think I could do that. I've done them. I've done Western States now. I've been to the starting line 9 times. I finished 8, and let me tell you, this year it's very difficult. The snow was really, it was challenging, and when I got to mile 30, I was so tired. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to do this. And luckily, after that, you get a lot of road running, which I love. So we got to run down the dirt road for a long time, and I got to get my legs back, and so it was cool.
Okay.
But then, then we go to Hard Rock, right?
Yeah.
And I've done Hard Rock a lot, so it kind of feels normal to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I was definitely nervous about the heat. But now I'm sure everybody knows that. So I've been to the starting line of Hard Rock 14 times, and out of those 14 times, 12 of them were in the morning. So one of them was 6 a.m. and all the other ones were 10 a.m. starts. So back when I won it, it was like 1:30 or 1:25. So this year, the day before Badwater, we went down to the little temperature thing. There's like a digital temperature. And while we're standing there, it was 1:15, 1:16, 1:17. And we got a picture like 1:18. But it was 1:18. I mean, 1:18 was nothing for Badwater. I mean, not nothing. But then, we started at night. So I think it was 1:07 at the start.
Oh,
So
crisp 107.
Yeah, and it was dark. So I'm not at all surprised that Ashley broke the record. Not at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
it was a good year for it.
I mean, I did not have an ice sock on until the second day.
Really?
Yeah, and
Oh, wow.
when you start at 10 a.m., you are drenched for the whole race. So it's a completely different race. Not to take anything out of it, it's still hard. It's very challenging. The climbs, of course, now that I'm old, no, not old, but 62, the climbs were challenging, real challenging, where I could run up. I ran up them before, and because it definitely is a runnable course if if you're fresh and yeah. I would like to see what she did on the last climb, because that thing kicks my butt every time. It was like, oh my gosh, climbing up Mount Whitney Road is tough.
So in between, Western States to Badwater to Hard Rock, it's just been mostly rest, just getting the body ready, getting the mind ready for each one. I was curious if, the triple doesn't happen without successfully doing the first one. Did you feel like any amount of pressure towards really making sure that you finish Western States to get this thing started, or does it feel like similar amounts of pressure, like different for each race? Where's the mind at for that?
Well, my mind, a couple things. Like, first of all, I kind of look at it like a triathlon. So like you can't finish a triathlon unless you get out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
So Western States was the water.
Yeah.
And then and to get out of the water, for me, like you got to be careful, because the water for me is very scary.
Mm-hmm.
So Western States, I was blown away. I got to whatever, I don't even know those names, but like 15 miles or whatever. Mm-hmm. I was on 30-mile cutoffs, and they just felt like, and I had fallen. A guy I got up. I was sliding down the snow, and a guy ran into the back of me, and I fell into some rocks. So I had a big cut on my shin and my knee. And I got to this aid station, and they're like, "Let me fix it." I'm like, "No way! I don't have any time. I'm going. I am out of here," because I just didn't have time. I felt like I wasn't going to make it the whole race.
Wow.
And my crew kept saying, "You're fine. You're fine." And I do the math, and I get screwed up with the math because my brain just can't think quite clearly. So, but when I got 6 miles to go, like I walked it. Like
Yeah.
I'm walking. Like I just wanted to know that I could get under 30 hours there.
Yeah.
Pam, it's quite incredible. Like, I mean, those numbers, if you look at Western States, Badwater, and then Hard Rock, the distance, the elevation, you look at temperatures, you look at time on feet, like it's huge, it's so massive. It's like such a big month, such a big few weeks. Like, that's all got to be preceded by a huge amount of lifetime spent moving and being active and I just wanted to ask that, like, where did that all stem from? Like, is there a moment that you switched into that kind of thinking or that attitude, or have you always been an active, moving person and just loved it?
Yeah, I've always been total moving, like, yeah, and when my husband and I, we got married and we had kids, and there was a joke a long time ago where, he would stop and get gas, and I'd just start running. So I would run until, after he got gas, he'd pick me up, or he'll meet me somewhere, and I'll take off, and then if we're gonna go somewhere, I'll run first. One time we were in, not Whistler, oh my gosh, in Montana at that, whatever that national park is, and we were stuck on, it was some rally in these little cars. We were all in a long line, so I got out of the car and I started running up. And well, the other day when we were coming here, because I wasn't going to do it, but I told him, I'm like, you should get out of the car and just start running, and then I'll pick you up, because we were all stopped because of whatever the stoppage coming here from Uray. So I do that kind of stuff. I just look at roads. I like running on dirt roads, or I look at something and I think, oh, I just want to run up there, and so it's been, yeah, I've always been moving, but I got to tell you, like in Badwater this year, it was really tough. I got into really low, like I was really tired trying to get my legs to go, and so then I was luckily able to get out of it, and once I get out of it, I can move again, and it's slow, but it's like, but I was able to, thank goodness, get it done.
Well, I mean, I think it's incredible, and I'm sure I speak for Brett as well. No doubt you hear a lot from other people as well that are just kind of blown away by that ability to mentally do it and also physically do it. We've also got someone else who's going to join us right now. This is John Fegyveresi. I think, sorry mate, I've probably pronounced that wrong. So John is also part of this. You guys are like a crazy little duo doing these back-to-backs. John, you've also just come and completed Western States, and this is the Hardrock Double. So I don't know if you've seen each other out there on the trails yet.
Yeah, I definitely saw you at Western States.
Yeah, we did. I remember seeing your face. Where was that?
I'm not sure. I just remember seeing you somewhere on the course. Yeah,
Somewhere out there.
And so I guess this is an opportunity, really, to just, I suppose, I would love this opportunity to ask you guys a little bit about how do you share what you know and what you've learned through these experiences with other people in this trail running community to try and inspire them to take on these kind of challenges.
you can go first. I need to think about that.
Say that again.
Well, Pam, what you do is pretty incredible. And how, surely other people can do that. And we've got an incredible community here in the trail running community. What's your advice for people out there that might dream about doing something as tough and as crazy as that? What's your advice for them?
I think you just can't think about it in the way, the bigness of it. Just take one at a time. Again, like a triathlon, right? You do the swim, you do the bike, you do the run. And it was kind of cool the other day. I mean, I want to show people that they can do this. I know you can. I am not anything special. I'm a normal person, and the key is you have to really want to do it. And if you really want to do it, it'll help you get over those spots. And not to say that I'm not a whiner, because I totally am a whiner, and I complain and I have doubts. And that's what's nice about having people with you sometimes, because they can help you do that. But the other day, this was cool. Darcy, I've been watching. So we did the Ram Party 50 miler, and Darcy was and I had just listened to a podcast with Dylan Bowman, and Dylan told Darcy that she was the first on the wait list. So ever since then, well, I don't even know when that was. But I've been watching to see if she got in, and got in, and she hadn't got in. I'm like, oh, such a bummer, because she was at Ram Party to get her service agreement. So she worked the aid station there. And so my husband said just a couple days ago, Darcy's in. And I said, you're kidding. So anyway, I just saw her at the Women's Talk, and she is going to do Hard Rock and then High Lonesome next week. She goes, yeah. So she said that this motivated her. So cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow.
It is, yeah.
I know I came through Silverton when I was through hiking the Colorado Trail back in 2008, and I saw a poster for the Hard Rock, and I just thought the enormity of that. I was like, wow, people do that. That's crazy. And yet here I am 15 years later now doing the double. So I think for those people out there that are watching this or that are thinking about like, how do people run 100 miles? It's just incremental. It really is. Like, you go out and you try a 50K, and then you do a 50 miler, and then, there's a crazy switch that probably flips in there somewhere. But at some point, you just test yourself further and further. You try Badwater, or you try Barkley, or you try something really crazy, and you just see what happens. And it's really not, I don't know about doing 3 in a row. That is kind of crazy. I don't think I could do that. But I don't know. Yeah, it's not as far out there as it seems. I think if you do the training and you want it, you definitely have to want it. It's an achievable goal. It really is.
So at the beginning of this year, did you have any thought that the Western States Hard Rock Double was potentially on the table, or did that seem like
not
there's
for
no
me at
way
all?
that's
Because
happening?
my odds for Western States were like 9% or something. I had pretty good odds to get into Hard Rock again, so I was excited about that. But I was actually running an Air Viper race during the latter. Actually, I was running the same race as you.
Oh, okay.
We were running that same Fat Ox race together, or whatever. And Jamil announced that I got into the Hard Rock lottery, and I got all excited. And then he said, "I wasn't finished. You got into Western States too." And I went, "Oh no!"
You're like, "Oh man, what am I doing?"
Yeah. So I was not expecting it at all. Was not expecting it.
How was your Western States experience, and how are you feeling after it?
It was really nice. I've run it twice now, and the first time I ran it, it was like 105 degrees in the canyon. Also really snowy up top. It was 2017. So I had all the snow at the beginning. It tired me out, and then I had all the heat in the day. So I really struggled that day. This year, the snow was still pretty bad up top, but the temperatures were amazing. So I just eased back and just had a nice casual run through the woods, and I had a delightful time. So, and I purposely took it conservative because I knew I had this coming up. So yeah, it was just a great day. I had a blast. It was really fun.
So how are you feeling? How are you feeling now?
I'm okay. Yeah, I mean, I hiked a 14er a few days ago, and I felt fine on that. And I've been sleeping at 11,000 feet, and so I think altitude-wise I should be okay. And otherwise I've mostly just been resting. So I haven't been running across Death Valley.
Yeah.
So
I guess this question goes for both of you. This weekend, like what will a successful Hard Rock look like for you?
Wow. Finishing.
yeah.
Yeah, getting. I'm really hoping and praying that I'm not like on cutoffs. I've never really experienced that. Mm-hmm. I mean, in my mind, I thought I was, but I really wasn't that close. So I hope not. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm with Pam on this. I just want to have a good day and finish. I've never seen it. I've only run it once, and it was clockwise, so I'm excited to see it in the other direction. Okay. And if I can just get through it and have a good day, I'm not so worried about the time. I just really want to have fun out there, and I know there's going to be a lot of snow too. So I'm definitely a lot more nervous this time than I was in 2018. So yeah, I just want to cross that finish line.
Do you both have other plans after this for the rest of the year? Because really, we're only kind of halfway through the year, and right. I just figure you've probably got other things already lined up. Pam, I can see in your eyes you're not going to go to bed after this one.
Well, I know my husband was just asking me what's next.
Yeah.
And he signed us up for the Elkhorn 50K, in Montana, Helena. And that was, he and I did, that was our first, it was 100K we did. That was our first race ever in like I think it was 92. And so that's I guess that's in August. I'm doing Kona Ironman. I got in there. I'm doing Ironman Arizona. Oh yeah, the coolest thing is, I forgot about this. My husband and I are, he was bugging me really bad. He wanted to go to New Zealand. And I said, if we're going to go somewhere, we need to have an event. So he looked up an event, and now I forget the name of it. There's a 50K in New Zealand. So I wrote to them, and I just said, I'll speak at your race if because it's really hard to get in. Like
What time of year is
Is
it?
it the Kepler Loop?
Kepler.
That's
Kepler
it.
Challenge.
That's an amazing
sweet.
track. Yeah.
Is it?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh my gosh!
I've hiked it many times.
So we've never been to New Zealand.
Yeah, it's lovely.
And so she wrote back and she goes, yeah, we can do it. So this was my husband's idea, the next one. So now we're going to do that Kepler on like December 3rd.
Yep.
And then December 10th, we're going to do the 70.3 Ironman New Zealand.
Cool.
Yeah, so, and I'm really happy because Jim, my husband, hasn't, he's kind of gotten out of Ironman. He's done like 30 full Ironmans, and then he stopped doing them. So he'll have to train now. So that's what, after this, we're going to start training for swimming and biking again.
Wow. Yeah.
Pam,
It's got a whole nother season ahead
It's
of you.
amazing. I know.
Pam,
Jeez.
what do you eat?
Eat?
Like, what is your
Oh my gosh.
daily calorie intake?
But you know how Courtney talks about sugar? And so my favorite food, I'm not kidding, okay, is cotton candy. I love cotton.
do
I
love
have a
some
bag
cotton
of it in the
candy.
room. And so I eat cotton candy. When I run races like this, I can't really eat candy. So I just made them right before I came here. I do sweet potatoes with coconut oil and salt.
Okay.
So those
Yeah.
are really good. And then I'll eat whatever. Like, hopefully, my husband's asking me, what do you want? And I'm like a hamburger with mayo. So I'll have that. And I have those chews, goo chews. I'll do those. And lots of Tailwind. Tailwind is really helped me with the calories and the taste, because water is, it just,
Yeah, no,
just
I
doesn't,
got you on that.
Yeah, right? So anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in daily life, are you like, you just chowing down whatever you want? Like,
No, I'm not I'm sure if people have read my book, I was anorexic for 15 years. So that unfortunately never goes away. So I really don't like eating. Eating is not what I like, but ultra running actually saved my life, I think, because you can't run this without eating. So it's on my mind all the time. And I got to tell you, my crew with these two races, because normally I go out and I stop eating at the end, and I did not do that. And that's why I finished. So, my husband was like, you have to eat, you got to drink, and you got to run. So those, and it's not easy, because I get so sick of eating. Like at Badwater, they kept naming
I feel
all
that.
these things. Do you want this? Do you want that? No.
Yeah, lose
no.
your appetite.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I
was
know.
like, ugh. So, but during a day, I'll eat whatever, and I eat cake. I love cake with frosting.
Yes.
Love that. Oh, Pam, apologies. I didn't realize that was your past, that you had anorexia back there. But
yeah.
that must have been a challenge in and of itself to push through and.
It was.
Move on to
And
this.
I mean, I wouldn't wish anybody on that, because people who had the opposite would always say, "Oh, could I have anorexia for 1 week?" And
Oof.
it's like, you really don't want this, because it's such a mental, stupid, crazy thing. But yeah, I would just, and it just, running absolutely saved me for that, because I really wanted to run long distances, and you cannot do that without eating. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are wise words right there.
Well, are you both excited? Are you ready for this? Are you Have you got any reservations, or are you both just ready to get out into
I mean, I'm definitely excited. This is one of those courses that certainly scares me. It should scare you. It's a tough course. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to see it again and just get out there and absolutely. Yeah.
There's a lot of love for you on the live chat here, John.
Jeez.
Yeah, legend. Flagstaff's finest. Have you been Flagstaff's finest, Fergie?
Yeah, it's tough living in Flagstaff. We've got all like the elite Hoka team and everybody there. So, I'll be out running what I think is a nice tempo run, and then I'll see like the Olympic team go by running like 4-minute miles, and you're like, oh, geez. So it can be a little humbling to live in Flagstaff.
You should just stop them next time on the trail and just tell them what you've done. All right, just tell them what you've done. Just see what their reaction is, because I am positive that they will be as blown away by what you've done as you are by the speeds that they run. Absolutely.
Shall we move on to our final bit?
I always forget this part. Anyway, speaking of food and good calories, Brett's got a little present for you both for joining us here today.
Okay. Yeah, so with a Trail Runner and Satisfy Running collab, we have this special drink that will be out on course. It's called Floda. It initially debuted at the Cocodona 250, and well, most people thought it was just a myth and that it didn't actually exist, and then it got surprised upon them at the mile 100 aid station. That Floda is flat soda.
Okay. I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely take a sip, see what you think.
I tell you, I'm like a major like bubbly person, so we'll see.
Oh, so this severely lacks that.
But it's cold. So.
It's cold.
Yes, we've had it on
though.
ice.
It's sugar.
It is.
It tastes like flat Coke.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's good. I mean, if it was like this, I would totally drink it at an aid station.
So it'll be at the Ouray
cool.
aid station. So when you get in there and you're feeling ready to charge up the mountain, you can ask for
right
some Floda.
now, and in this altitude, I have found that I've been eating a lot more calories and and sugar. So
yeah, the body kind of goes into hyperdrive up here.
Yeah, it's good.
Yes, but
hey, John, while you're taking a sip on this incredible floater, again, thanks Trail Runner for being a part of not only Hard Rock but also the massive supply of floater that we're getting through
here.
See the
stack behind you.
Yeah, those are all our empties.
So, John, someone on the chat just wanted to ask what are your priorities for sustainability and climate at the moment?
Oh,
what are you working on in terms of your research for that?
Well, yeah, that's a loaded question. So I've kind of got a lot of things going on. I have a master's program that I direct at NAU, working with students, basically going into the solutions sector, so renewable energy, greenhouse gas accounting, that kind of stuff. But then I also do my own Antarctic research, looking at ice cores and climate change. So I'm kind of trying to split my time between those two areas. So pure research, but also sort of practical solutions. Because what I see when all the students come in now, especially the grad students, is they all are like, we want to do something. We want to fix this. We want to make a difference. And so we're trying to get people out there working in the solutions and the, whatever it is, whether it's energy, whether it's policy, whether it's pure research. But
do you feel like trail running has a space in being like a breeding ground for people that can be leaders in that space?
I think so. I mean, I've definitely been seeing a lot more of that. Like when I see interviews with various trail runners, a lot of people are speaking out about that. Like I know Claire Gallagher talks a lot about that. She's very passionate about it. I've seen a lot of other sort of the elite trail runners really speaking out about climate change and how it's affecting their trails and their communities. So I think we're hearing more and more about it. And we just had the 4 hottest days in human recorded history last week or whatever it was. So it's like it's really starting to affect everything. So we definitely need to get out there and start fixing the problem. So
sweet. All right, Brett. Any more? Is there anything else? Like you guys are not leaving anything on the table with the running that you're doing this summer. Is there anything else you want to share with the fine people of the world?
Well, I need to thank my husband for sure. That this is not easy. It's got to be really hard to be married to somebody who does this kind of stuff. You know, can you imagine? I mean, this is going to be my 112th 100-mile run. It's crazy, you know, like
It's crazy.
So I mean,
That's
not
awesome,
only
though.
the
Wow.
number, the cost of it all. It's this, and these 3 races are, it's not inexpensive, and luckily I there's a dear friend of mine who Mike Kasser, who owns Halualoa. So we're doing a little documentary on my 3 runs, and so he paid for that. So
that's incredible.
that's really nice, and so part of these T-shirts and that type of thing. But this is not. It's just not easy on families, and I started this back in '92 when we had 4 kids, and then at 95 we've had 5 boys, and so it's just a lot on my family, and it's hard mentally sometimes that way. But I just want to thank all them and my crew this year. It's really cool to have, and positivity, and it's so much fun. And the best thing for me is that they enjoy being here. Where this is my husband's favorite place, and there's one woman she's done a lot of runs. Her name is Elaine, and she'll be in the crew, and she shows up tonight, and she's never been here before. So nothing is more fun than to be with somebody like that is just seeing it for the first time. Badwater's the same way. Like when I'm out there with somebody that wants to be there, oh my gosh, it's a game changer. It makes the whole experience so much better.
Pam, what's the title of your book?
The Extra Mile. And I've been wanted to write another one, but I'm too, ADHD. I can't sit down long enough to put it together.
Yeah.
Wow. Maybe you can just voice record it whilst you're running, and then stop listening to all these podcasts with Brett's voice on it. Just record your own. And John, you've got some peer-reviewed citations and peer-reviewed articles that people.
Yeah,
can
I mean,
look
you can go to Google Scholar. I've got some papers out there, but
there we go.
I guess I just want to echo too that thank my pacers and my partner Christine, who this is basically our vacation. So she's here. Yeah, we got to play in the Maroon Bells and we got to play in Colorado, but this is our vacation. So I feel very selfish sometimes doing these things. And also, it's kind of off topic, but I do want to just send a little shout to my friends back in Vermont who are all flooded out right now. So that's where I used to live, and I just feel bad. A lot of my community is completely underwater right now. So I hope you guys are okay.
Well, thanks so much, Pam. Thanks, John. Look,
Yeah.
I don't know what you're going to do for the rest of the Arvo, but I'm sure it's probably just chill out, check the runner's briefing.
Put my
and then
drop
just-
bags in because I got to do that.
Oh, I know. I know. That's stressful.
That's
What do you
important.
put in those things, After doing them, it doesn't get any easier.
Don't forget your headlamp.
Yeah, I know.
I'm always paranoid I'm going to do
Yeah,
that.
not only don't forget your headlamp, but guess what? I had my headlamp or the light way back at Wasatch, and you have it starts at 5 a.m. and it's pitch black, and it died in 2 minutes. In 2 minutes. Did I have an extra one? No.
No.
Do I have an extra one now? Yes.
That's when you run really close to the person next
Yeah,
to you.
I know for sure. On top of him.
That's experience right there.
Yeah.
That's experience right there.
Cool.
Well, thank you both for your time.
Yeah,
All the
sure.
best this weekend, and I hope you have a great time, and really appreciate you
I hope so
coming out
too.
here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been great, and I love listening to these things. It's really, really fun to listen to. It's fun to listen to all the different people that you interview, and the live cast, like the Cocodona or the Western States. I go back and listen to them. When I ran Cocodona a long time ago, on the way home driving home from Flagstaff, I had it on the whole time. I was half dead, but I listened to it, and then I listened to it again. So it's fun.
Right on. We love that.
We appreciate that. All right then.
Thanks.
Thanks so much.